Hi, this is Tom from Mark My Words. In this video, we're going to be talking about risk management in Jira using the BigPicture app, which is one of the best project management apps that you can find in the Atlassian ecosystem for Jira. Okay, so what I will be showing you today is how the risk module, which is situated here, we are already inside the big picture, how the risk module looks like, how to use it, and what are the benefits of using it properly, what information you can get out of it, how useful can it be, okay? So before we start, a couple of words about myself. I have been working with implementing PMO solutions in the Jira environment for the past 4+ years. I have been working very closely with Software Plant, so the vendor of BigPicture, implementing BigPicture in many different companies, both in Europe and in US, Canada, all around the world, basically. I've seen lots of implementations in lots of many industries, and there is one thing that is common to all of those implementations. Almost everybody likes the risk module that is available over here in BigPicture. It's kind of a surprise to me because I think that this kind of risk management is pretty simplistic, but at the same time, it turns out that not many companies actually want to have a robust risk management solution. They just want a place where they can store their risks, review them from time to time, be able to react based on the information they get, right? And this is exactly what the risk module in BigPicture provides to you. So let's have a look at where we are. We are already inside BigPicture. You can see over here that we are in BigPicture. This is the project that we are currently looking on. So this is my demo project that I usually use for my presentations. And there are several modules available over here: Gantt, Scope, Board, Roadmap, Resources, Teams, Risks, and Reports. And the risks are the module that we will be interested in today. And I will tell you a little bit about what it contains, how it works, how useful can it be in terms of the risk management for you and your company. Here we go then. First of all, it's worth noticing that the risk module contains two different views, and they are listed over here. So there is a matrix view and there is a table view. You can work with both of them, or you can work only with one, depending on what you prefer. Basically, both of them show you exactly the same set of data. So it doesn't really matter whether you're looking at the matrix, as we see it right now, or when I scroll down, whether you work with the table. They both contain the same kind of information. You can always keep both of them available and just scroll to one or another depending on what you feel like looking at this moment. Also, it's worth noticing that risks in BigPicture are basically based on two values primarily. So this is a risk consequence and there is a risk probability. And these two values, first of all, determine that the task or a Jira issue is actually a risk. And then it also, of course, determines where in the matrix that ticket is going to be placed, right? So you know that Jira is based on issues or tickets. And also BigPicture is a tool that is working on those tickets coming from Jira. So it doesn't create its own risks. It creates tickets, or it allows you to create tickets or import those tickets in Jira or from Jira, and you are working constantly on Jira data. That is awesome. That is awesome because it means that you can manage those risks from this screen, but you can also reach those issues from outside of BigPicture. You can create a custom report out of those risks. You can, grab those risks and drag them into another tool. You can even reach into those risks with the API and grab them to a completely external app for an integration purposes. So it provides you with all kinds of flexibility that I personally really like from my software solutions. Okay, so we know that we are working on Jira issues. We know that there are two primary values that need to be provided for an issue to be considered a risk. Another thing that is important is that the risk or the issue that should represent the risk needs to fall into the scope of the program that we are looking right now, or the project, right? So I told you that we are looking at the demo project. So this demo project has a defined scope. I'm not going to go into details now, but everything that is supposed to fall into the risk category needs also fall into the scope of the program or project that we are currently working with. Otherwise, it's just not going to appear over here, right? So you have to know what's the scope of your program to be able to create risks for that. And then, creating risks and managing them from this screen is pretty straightforward. And that's the beauty of it, right? So first of all, you can create new issues that will be your risks, or you can use the existing issues to work as risks for you, right? So there are two different approaches. You can mix them, or you can use one or another. There are different pros and cons of the first one and the second one. I dive into a little bit more details of that in our training for the BigPicture app. But for now, it's just worth noticing or worth knowing that you can basically treat your issues, and that's exactly what you see on my screen now. Just looking at the issue type icon over here, you can see that it's a standard Jira task, right? So these issues are just treated as risks because I have assigned the consequence and probability values to those issues. And this is how you do it. You just click add an existing issue, either from here or from here, add an existing issue. But it's easier to do it from the matrix because depending on where you click it, on which cell, the values of probability and consequence will already be pre-populated for you. So that's way easier than creating it from here where they are going to be blank. So, if I want to create a risk that is going to be, what do we have? Low in terms of consequence and medium in terms of probability, I just click over here, I say add an existing issue, and then I need to find the issue that I want to add over here. So let me see if I can find something by typing demo. So maybe, there we go. Let's take this one, task created from Jira, right? And then you can see that the probability and consequence are already predefined for me because that's how the metrics work. And then, I can click add another to keep going with adding more issues, but I don't want to. So I will just click add, and my task appeared over here inside my matrix. It also appears over here, that's the one, number 39, task created from Jira, in my table view, of course, right? So it appears automatically in both. So that's pretty easy, right? And you can see that this is a different issue type. It's a user story, but it's a different issue type. So that's the first thing that you can do, or the first approach. The second approach is that you create your own issue type, a separate one, a new one that is exclusively assigned to being a risk. And that's the approach I like because it kind of gives you a very nice distinction between normal Jira tasks and the risks, right? So you of course still have the possibility of assigning the risk to a normal Jira task, but by just creating a separate issue that will be the risk itself, it kind of, at least for me, it gives you more freedom. You can have this issue, you can still provide all the values on the level of that issue, and then you can also connect this issue. It's still a Jira issue, so you can connect this issue with all the tasks, user stories, epics, whatever, that this risk touches or is connected with, right? So to do this, click Create New Issue over here, and you will get the standard issue create screen, right? So first of all, you need to note that depending on the scope of your project, you might need to choose something over here, right? So I am working with my demo project, so this is fine for me. Then I get issue types over here, yes? And the issue type that I am interested in is the risk issue type, right? So that's the one I have created, or I have asked my Jira admin to create for me. And I'm not going to create a task, a story, an epic, or anything else from over here. I'm going to create a risk. Okay, and I'm going to say that partner fails to deliver on time kind of risk, right? So this will be the title of my risk. And now notice that there is some customization connected with this issue type, right? So my normal ticket would have all of those fields. There are pretty plenty of them. So, probably you would like to limit those fields to only the ones that you are interested in when you're thinking about risks. I just copied the default in my issue screen and added things to it. So the things that I've added are over here. Risk mitigation plan, right? So I have created a new field for me that is available only on the risk issue. That is a risk mitigation plan, right? And I can say here that, well, I have to monitor the partner closely to make sure that everything is going on track, and if something goes sideways, I have time to react to it. Maybe have another partner ready to jump in if things go sideways, right? So, I can write my own mitigation plan here and have it ready for all the status meetings, risk review meetings, things like that, right? Or just for the person that is managing the risk to be able to come here and see what has been happening before, what's the idea about the risk mitigation plan, or basically about what can we do with the risk when we want to do something about it. Another thing, another field that I've added over here is a risk reserve budget in dollars, right? So this is a numerical field, and I can say here that, for example, I'm reserving $10,000 as a contingency for, if things do go sideways over here, I will use this money, and it is booked for me somewhere in my budget to react to the risk that has materialized, right? And there are a bunch of other fields. I'm not going to fill them, but there is a risk consequence and probability over here. So I will just give it medium and medium so that this risk is going to appear nicely in the middle of our matrix. So let's create this one. It's going to take a second for Jira to go through it. And now, ladies and gentlemen, medium and medium is over here. And this is my project plan that I have created. And that's exactly the thing that we have just we have just defined, right? Oh, sorry, it's this one. Yeah, it's this one. Partner failed to deliver. Because there are two tickets, and you can see that there is a different issue type. It's with a question mark, so that's the icon I have assigned to my risk issue type. And then obviously I could open this in a new Jira new Jira tab, like over here, and I could say that this issue is linked. This issue, so this risk relates to this issue, right? I can link it, and I can keep linking it with many other issues to indicate that there is a risk, and this risk is connected with several other places in my project plan. So I think that's pretty convenient to have. On top of this, you can also move things around over here very easily, right? So if I want to change the consequence and probability values, I just drag and drop the issue somewhere else. It takes a moment for Jira to think what to do, and then the issues gets rescheduled, right? I can do the same thing over here. I can click edit, and again, I can change the summary values. I can change the assignee if I want to, so that's pretty cool as well. And I can, for example, assign admin 1 to this task, and I can change those values from over here, probability and consequence as well, right? So that's pretty convenient too. But coming back to the matrix, I think that kind of matrix is a little bit easier to use. Another cool thing about the matrix is that these risks are visualized to you as those cards. They are called risk card, and you can manage what appears on the risk card over here. That's pretty cool, isn't it? So here's how you do it. It currently is configured in the BigPicture administration settings, but very, very soon in BigPicture 8, it is going to be program or project specific. So you will be able to configure your risk card for a certain project, not globally. To configure the risk card, you need to go to your program configuration or the box configuration. Let's wait a moment for Jira to jump into my configuration, and then you will be able to see that I can go to risks over here, and here I can configure my risk card. So you can see that there is a bunch of fields already available over here. Maybe not all of them are necessary. So for example, start and end date. Well, I don't want them. Actually, I will delete the whole row. Risk, consequence, and probability. I kind of don't need this as well because I can see it from the placement in the matrix, right? So let's delete those as well. And instead, let's make it a big field, like, I mean, 2 lines big. And let's say that over here, I want the risk mitigation plan to be displayed. Yeah. And then I have a time tracking over here. Time tracking will fit into half of the card. And in the other one, I will say that my budget is going to be available over here. So let's save this one. And let's jump back to risks after it indicates that it's saved. So there we go. We are back in the risk module, and you can see that now I can see blank spaces over here. That's because my tasks or my user stories don't have the risk mitigation plan. They don't have this field, but my risk issue type does have this field, and also has the risk reserve budget field. So if I would have my risk matrix filled with my risk issue types, then everything would look very, very nicely. But because I am not using risk mitigation plan and risk reserve budget in any of the other issue types, these fields are empty, right? So it kind of also shows you that if you're mixing the approach, you need to be aware that there might be some issues. And again, we are talking more about this in the big picture training, either live training or the video training, which we will definitely link in the description of this video below. So you can configure the view of the card, and you can also use the magnifying glass to just put the card on a full screen kind of mode. And then this is a very handy mode to use during some risk review meetings with your team, with your board, to just go through them. Notice that over here, you can also edit the fields, text fields actually, right? So this allows you to do that. It also allows you to provide numerical field values. So I could do this, but you will also notice that even though I have provided those values here, they do not appear, right? Well, the numerical values is left here. And after providing those values, you can also switch to different tasks to talk about all of them, basically, right? Our risk over here is available too. And of course, we could change the value to be only 5,000, for example. Sure, why not? Yeah. 5001. No, we're going to leave it at 5,000. And another cool thing is that you can also edit it from over here, which will basically invoke standard Jira edit screen. Yes. And we will be able to edit the information from this screen as well. If there are some things missing on this edit field, that just means that your Jira configuration needs some tinkering, but it doesn't mean that it cannot appear over there. So let's sum up what we have discussed. We know that we are working on Jira data, right? We know that we have 2 views available over here. Both of them are pretty useful. We know that we can very easily add things to the matrix, either by creating new issues or adding in existing ones and just assigning consequence and probability values to them. We know that we can edit the risk card over here. We know that we can enlarge it and use it for the presentation purposes. What I didn't mention is there are also quick filters over here that can additionally allow you for some filtering of the matrix if you have quite a lot of risks defined. So again, we are explaining how to use the quick filters, how to define them, how they work, what they are based on in the training. So if you want to learn more, definitely reach out into that. And I think that it basically nicely sums up of what this module, this big picture module, is capable of. Of course, it brings you, I mean, the big picture brings you a lot more than just risks, right? So you have the Gantt module that you can work with, and you can create your Gantt charts, you can create your work breakdown structure and visualize it very nicely, similarly to what the Microsoft project, for example, allows you to do. There is, of course, also the resources module, which is connected with managing resources. And we will probably at some point in time also record a video about that. It's connected with Teams. It's also connected with some administration features like workload plans, holiday plans, and skills. So there is a skill-based planning available in BigPicture too. And there are also several modules available for primarily agile administration of your project. So if you're working in agile mode or scaled agile framework or less or any other agile methodology, you will be using the board probably, you will be interested in the roadmap, you might be interested in the scope tab. So there are lots and lots of features that you can check out. Basically, as I mentioned at the very beginning, I think that BigPicture is the best project, the best and most comprehensive project management tool that you can get your hands on in the Jira environment. And at the same time, it is quite complicated, right? So it has lots of features that sometimes are hard to discover. Actually, currently, I am working with the customer that has been working with the BigPicture, trying to implement BigPicture for the past half a year. And they did some demo projects, they did some pilot, and they invited me to have a look at their instance to see where they are at and what else we could do to enhance their experience with the software. I had a session with them yesterday and I took a look at their instance and I noticed that similarly to almost all the clients that are in the same situation as they are using 30 to maybe 40% of the functionalities that the BigPicture provide. They do not understand the depth of features that the tool has. They do not understand very well the connection between BigPicture and Jira, and they are not using it properly to their advantage. They are doing lots of things manually where they could be automated, and they are not sure how to present their data properly for the higher management, CEOs, people that want to have the aggregated views of whatever they are working with, like project portfolios, programs, whatever thing might be for an individual company. So this is why I strongly advise that if you are thinking about implementing BigPicture, if you are thinking about employing this wonderful tool to help you manage projects, programs, portfolios in your company, educate yourself first, right? So it's really worth knowing what is possible before you start designing the solution for your company. And we will probably quite soon record another video where we will be talking about the whole implementation process that we recommend that we go through with our customers that has been proven many, many times and it works. But for now, just remember that the professional help might be something that is worth considering. If you would like to talk with me about how to do it properly, or maybe how we could help you in the process, feel free to reach out to us. There will probably be the description, a link in the description to our contact page. So drop us a message. We will reach out to you. I can spend a short session with you for free to just talk about where you are, what you're searching for, what are your needs, how BigPicture can help you, if it can help you at all, because I'm not saying that it's perfect for every scenario, but I'm an honest guy. So I just will tell you if it's a good tool for you or not. If there is something better on the market, I will tell you a better solution to look into and try to give you as much value or out of your requirements as possible. So having said that, I hope you have enjoyed this video. If it has been helpful, please consider subscribing to the channel, because we are going to bring a lot more information regarding BigPicture, but not BigPicture only, because we are also looking very closely into more project management or resource management tools in the Jira environment. So currently we already have Tempo timesheets video training ready for you. We have Tempo planner video training ready for you. We are working on more add-ons to cover. So a lot more features are going to come, a lot more information or information video are going to come. We are probably going to compare the different project management tools one to another in the future as well. So quite a lot of interesting content, I think. And also, I would like to wish you good luck on your journey with BigPicture. It is a very interesting tool to implement, and I'm personally having loads of fun helping people implement it properly, managing their projects in a usually new environment that for many of my customers Jira is. So good luck, have fun with your project, enjoy your life, and hopefully hear you in the next videos.